Not a sponsor. Hey everybody, welcome to Thankful Thursday. It's November 12th, and it is officially 1 month until my 40th birthday. So, you can cue the midlife crisis right about now. Honestly, I'm actually not that worried about it. I feel better now than I have almost at any point in my life. And I really don't feel like I've become 40, whatever that used to mean. In all honesty, when I was younger, I actually felt like I was always more mature or just, I don't know, had a much more adult attitude than a lot of my friends did. And then I hit this kind of coalescent point somewhere around 27 where suddenly my personality and my age seemed to match. And then my personality stayed about 27 and my age just kept going up. So that's about the emotional equivalent that I feel right now and have felt for years. I mean, I'm definitely an adult and I do adult things and I think about adult things like the house and the car payments and all these other things. But I also think like, have I gotten to see the last Doctor Who episode? Do I have a Funko-sized Doctor Who? Do I go see the next Transformers movie the opening night and really look like a tool? Or do I go during the day on a Sunday and hopefully nobody sees me? And not because they're good movies, but because they're terrible and I have an affinity for terrible movies. But other than that, things are going well. Logan has been off the wall in terms of energy. He's just been go, go, go for just days. And always in a good mood, but kind of like when his excitement level gets to a certain point, he kind of rides this line between having a lot of fun and kind of just getting out of control, where he just doesn't seem to know how to handle that level of enthusiasm, that level of excitement. Sometimes he'll be playing with his toys and just start freaking out and then shaking his head back and forth really quickly. And I'll ask him like, whoa, what's going on? And he'll look at me really, carefully and just be like, I'm doing crazy head. I don't know where he gets these things. Liam, on the other hand, is still incredibly cute, but he's got kind of those baby problems. He'll be 7 weeks old in a few days, so his skin and the oils in his skin are just getting used to kind of being out in the air still, so he's got just eczema in a lot of places on his face, and it's just, and we talked to the doctor about it, and he just said it's just gonna take time, and actually it will also flare up and go back down on its own for a little while. The only thing that we can do is kind of keep his face really moist. He recommended coconut oil, which Michelle is using, so if you have any other ideas of things that might be helpful for moisturizing a baby face, not this baby face, leave them in the comments below because that would be awesome. And Liam also gets the hiccups all the time. Michelle and I have decided we are going to ban hiccups from this household because he'll be just super calm, he'll be cuddly, he'll be cooing, he'll be just happy as can be, and then suddenly hiccups. And he just gets so mad, or he just gets kind of like unusually confused about what's going on. But when he's trying to sleep, that's the worst time for those hiccups to happen. And especially when it happens after he's eaten, because it could cause him to spit up, or also the fact that one of the things that helps the hiccups go away is to feed him. But if he's just finished that bottle, we end up either having to make a whole nother ounce just to stop the hiccups, or who knows, we just bear with it until it goes away. But he could get to sleep so much quicker if he just didn't have them all the time. So now on to the actual Thankful Thursday topic. And what I'm thankful for this Thursday is therapy. Specifically, my therapist named Sarah, and I'll just leave it at that. She's someone that my wife and I actually went to before we got married. Instead of how some religious couples will go to their priest in their church and kind of do their premarital kind of sessions, we went to premarital counseling just to make sure we were on the same page. And we did, I think, like 8 different sessions with Sarah, and it was really awesome because we found out that there were many things that we were totally in line with, but certain things we hadn't even considered, like money. Like Michelle and I thought about money completely differently. I grew up in a household and in a family where we were living paycheck to paycheck, and it just kind of felt like even if we had bonus money, that money disappeared very quickly for things that we wanted, and we kind of came back to that comfortable, uncomfortable place of just being right above the line. So I was never taught kind of the financial habits of saving money and being more secure with it. And she came from a place where she saw that same kind of thing of scraping by, but her family did it with a way of, we will always save money so that we won't have to scrape by eventually. So we kind of butted heads a little bit on that, and it was hard for me to join our bank accounts and kind of understand that now it was all our money. And not that I had a problem with it in thought, but suddenly in practice I was like, but I want to buy that PlayStation. Why is that a problem? And not thinking, well, oh, okay, we only have $400 in there. You know, the old me would be like, well, that's exactly what I need to get the PlayStation. Instead of new me, which is like, oh, maybe I don't want to spend my last dime getting a video game system that I probably don't have as much time as I used to actually play anyway. But I will be getting a PlayStation 4 to replace the PlayStation 3 that we currently have because it's starting to break. So Sarah was really awesome in that case. And then after Logan was born and I had my complete breakdown, and if you don't know about that, I have plenty of other videos that you can go back and find where I talk about that in great detail. But Sarah was the one who helped me out of that hole. I went to see her quite often, and it was everything I needed it to be. She was not only a great listener, but she challenged me on how I was reacting to certain things, and she gave me tools on how to deal with things. She also made me think about where my perspective was coming from and what it would be like if I thought about it in a different way, from a different perspective. All of these things came together to really help me through an area and a time that just I needed that help. And I stayed with her for over 2 years. And when I finally stopped going, it had nothing to do with thinking it wasn't valuable anymore. It was a point where I felt like it was time for me to go back on my own 2 feet and see if I could put all the tools and all the things that she had taught me into practice and see if I could then function that way. And so far it's working out pretty well. Not to say that I don't have bad days anymore, but when I do, I can process it better. And yes, as I've mentioned before, I also am on medication that I got from a psychiatrist and my doctor, so that does help. But for people who might be thinking like if you got the medication you don't need the therapy, that's just not true. The medication is there to take care of the side effects of your condition. So if you have depression, if you have anxiety, the side effects of those things being like you get flushed, you get nauseous, you might faint, you get fidgety, you can't sleep, like all that kind of stuff, that's what the medication can help kind of taper down. But the actual root cause of your depression or your anxiety, the mental triggers, the medication isn't going to cover that. The medication isn't going to touch that. Therapy is what's going to work on that. So those two things work together very, very well, and I'm glad that I had a chance to do them both, and I had the opportunity and the health insurance and everything else I needed to get that done. And since then, I don't know if I could be any more of an open advocate for both of those things. Very quickly after I started going to therapy, I really felt like I didn't want to be one of those people that felt stigmatized by it. I didn't want to feel like I shouldn't talk about it because people might think I'm broken. Because I was just over it. There was so much in my lifetime, so much in my childhood that I decided I didn't want to talk about because I didn't want people to see me differently. And all it ended up doing was hurting me and making me suffer longer alone. So I'm just over that. And the funniest part is that once I started talking about it to my friends in my circle, who would have known that so many of the other people I know either have been in therapy, have thought about therapy, have needed just that extra inspiration or that extra positive outlook to make their own move into therapy. And you find that you're just not alone. So many people are dealing with this kind of stuff, and it can only benefit them and yourself to be honest about your own journey. So that's what I'm thankful for. And I'm thankful for the fact that it's available to everyone who needs it. There's always a resource out there somewhere, ranging from hotlines to free clinics to even online websites and forums. If you need help, don't resist asking for it. So that's all for Thursday. Hope you guys have a good one. Hope you're getting ready for the weekend. And as always, be good to each other.